Arcturians on Soul Fragmentation, received by Sal Rachel. Greetings in the light of the infinite creator. We are the Arcturians. The channel has asked us to speak on a subject that is rather complex and misunderstood by most on Earth. We will try to make the best possible use of your language. The channel will attempt to clarify any misconceptions brought about by the limitations of your language. The subject of soul fragmentation must be approached from multiple levels of understanding. From the highest possible level, there is but one soul because we are all one being manifesting as individual facets. In the beginning, the one being chose to experience itself as individualized fragments or facets. The common analogy can most relate to is the concept of a pincushion or a sea urchin, whereby the ball or center of the creature represents the Godhead, and the spines or tentacles represent the individual souls. As you can obviously deduce in the sea urchin, the spines are an integral part of the creature but seem to have an individuality because there are sensors in the tips of each tentacle that experience the surrounding environment, relaying information back to the central core about such things as the location of food supplies, water temperature, etc. God manifesting as individualized souls can be likened to the sea urchin if you imagine for a moment that each of God's individual sensor point souls reports back to God a unique viewpoint using the physical senses, or in the case of disembodied souls, as mental, intuitive perceptions. When an individual, integrated soul leaves the Godhead to experience the outer worlds as an individualized spark of God, the connection to Source always remains intact. However, imagine for a moment that a single tentacle on a sea urchin splits into sub-tentacles that are all still connected to the main tentacle, but now consist of several smaller tentacles, each moving in a different direction. That is the best analogy we have for the idea of soul fragments. The first set of integrated souls fragment into 12 pieces, or sub-fragments, in the manner of 6 male-female pairs. Each of these male-female pairs then fragment again as sub-sub-pairs, etc., until you have the current number of individual souls that make up your world at present, and all other worlds inhabited by souls. While there are approximately 6.4 billion individual souls upon your planet, virtually all of these began as a set of 12 primary souls extended from the Godhead. So far, our discussion involves only integrated souls, i.e., souls that are whole and complete within their sphere of influence. But what about non-integrated souls? What are non-integrated fragments? How did they become non-integrated, and can they be made whole again? These are the questions we will attempt to answer next. The picture actually gets more complex when you consider that the primary, secondary and tertiary levels of individual souls representing integrated fragments is only part of the current story on Earth. Now, let us take a look at non-integrated fragments. These are pieces of soul energy that get split off from an individual soul and attach themselves to other individual souls. These fragments are incomplete, meaning they do not have enough God essence to become fully conscious beings. They manifest as apparitions, poltergeists, ghosts, thought forms, discarnate entities, and the like. They attach to the auras of other souls and contaminate the integrity of such other souls. Non-integrated soul fragments occur when the emotional or mental body of an individual soul is traumatized by unhealthy alliances, such as possessive love relationships, karmic contract relationships, such as souls torn apart by becoming war casualties, perpetrators or victims of murders, rapes, etc., and any form of interaction between souls that results in cording, psychic attachments, or entity possession. When we look at individual souls, we often see pieces of other souls embedded in the aura. These may appear as dark blotches, black holes, or geometric anomalies. A psychic healer will often remove these energetic attachments and attempt to return them to the souls from which they fragmented. Therapies that specialize in soul integration often include exercises whereby the non-integrated soul travels the universe in search of its missing parts, discovering other souls that have received its fragments and negotiating with those souls to return the missing parts. If you have unresolved emotional traumas, have become separated from a loved one to which you were emotionally attached, or have violent karma with another soul, there is a good chance that you have fragments of your own soul attached to these other souls. There are a number of techniques that can be employed to recover your lost soul fragments. The most powerful and effective tool is simply becoming aware of your lost soul fragments and asking your own God presence to go wherever it is needed to reclaim these lost parts. If you become aware that you have fragments of other souls attached to your auric field, you must release these fragments into the light and ask God to send the fragments back to their rightful owners. This process is way too complex for most people to consciously undertake, unless you ask your God presence to do the retrieval and returning. You may experience sudden and intense memories of past loves or past hurts as your God presence is returning fragments to their rightful owners or retrieving your lost fragments. Once you have cleansed yourself of fragments that do not belong to you, and once you have retrieved all your own soul pieces, the process of integration can begin. You must welcome back your fragments and merge them within your own being until you feel whole again. After you are back to being an integrated soul, you can then become aware of your higher soul family, the other 11 parts of your original integrated oversoul fragment. This is a very joyous occasion when you begin to make contact with your soul family. At some point, your soul family will reunite, while at the same time preserving the individuality of each soul. We know this sounds like a contradiction or a paradox, but the ultimate paradox is the fact that all souls eventually merge back into the Godhead, while at the same time becoming individual gods in their own right, free to create like our original God parents. It's kind of like when an Earth family scatters themselves around the globe and then comes home for a family reunion. The family is once again together, but each individual has his or her own unique life and experience. Such is the case with soul families. At another time, we will talk about oversouls and master souls. These are names given to the primary rays emanating from the Godhead that gave birth to the 12 members of your soul family. We will also go into the nature of twin flames, although we understand Leah may be a bit more qualified in that department, as she is the twin flame of the channel. We hope this discussion makes sense. This is a challenge for us partly because we have just started working with this channel, and partly because this is a complicated subject to most people of Earth. We have, of course, only touched upon the intricacies of this matter, but you will likely have a clearer picture than when we began this discussion. We leave you now, promising to return shortly. We are the Arcturians. We bless you in the light of the Infinite One.